What is going on, people? Welcome to episode 30 of the On a Level podcast. Today we've got the man himself, NoCaseNone. How are you, my bro?
Good. Yeah, good man. Yourself?
Yeah,
Thanks for having me on.
Nah, no worries, man. It's all good. Yeah, I'm all right. We're getting by in these quarantine times.
Oh, I know. You're in full lockdown where you are, aren't you?
Yeah, we went into full lockdown yesterday.
Okay.
We went into full lockdown yesterday, but there's people still just wandering around. Like, there's a video going around this morning on Twitter of people just in the park, like 20 minutes from here, and there is just tons of people like sunbathing. It's like people are out here ridiculous. Just having a good time, and it's just like, I don't know, man. It's a bit.
I saw one. Yeah, it is. I saw one guy in Italy. I think they've gone into full lockdown as well, and he was out and about doing whatever he wanted to do. And then the cops came up to him, pulled a gun on him, and he's like, oh, shoot me, and lifts his shirt up. And then some other cop comes up behind him and then kicks his feet out from under him, puts him in handcuffs, and they take him to walk around the streets.
It's
crazy.
Mad. I've seen videos of people in, I believe, India, maybe Pakistan, of there's people on like mopeds. And then the police run over with these like bamboo sticks, and they're just beating the shit out of them. And they're like, there's like two, and one drives off, and then his friend's like running after it, and it's just like, what the fuck is going on? Like, some countries are taking no bullshit for it. Here, we've just had a couple of officers go on their microphones, and they're like, please, boys, you need to go home. This is not a holiday. This is a lockdown. And that's the worst we've had here. We've had like no violence with it yet. Not that I've seen anyway.
No.
But in Australia, what's it like in Australia at the moment?
So we've gone like basically all so we've got like different types of jobs that they've said. So we've got ones that are essential. So if you've got an essential job that has to keep going, then you can go to that. But then other things like normal retail areas and things, different jobs like that, those are fully closed off. So my girlfriend, her cafe, which she's been working at, that just shut down. But we don't have like a lockdown as such yet. But I know New Zealand, they've just put through a 4-week lockdown, complete lockdown. So I would say Australia is going to be next.
Yeah, we've got a similar thing to you in terms of you. So you've got essential workers. We've got it's the same thing, but we call it key workers. So because I'm working in a primary school, I'm still working. I've literally been given like this letter that has like all these official stamps on it, and it's basically a free pass of you are allowed to travel to and from work on these days between these times, and it's like, what the fuck? Like, so they're starting to take it serious here, but we're not lockdown like some places. Like, there are still some things going on.
Can you still go to the grocery, like to the shops?
Yeah, you still can go to the shops. They encourage people to go to like your local, like what we call corner shops instead of like the big supermarkets, just because the big supermarkets, that's where everyone's trying to go. And there's like queues at like first thing in the morning when it opens at like 7-8 a.m. There's like hundreds of people queuing to get in.
All the shelves have been empty here.
Yeah.
All the shelves.
So our supermarkets are like that here. Like, there's just nothing at the moment in the big ones. But then the smaller shops that you go to, there's still plenty of stuff. So people are panicking and going to all these big ones. But if you go to your local store, there's going to be no toilet roll. Yeah, there might not be any pasta. But you can get the rest for the most part. And so, I think I think the panic is what's caused majority of the problems here, rather than the actual virus.
And as well, like with, all the different, like your toilet paper, etc., just going off the shelves. It just, it's gotten worse because a few people went, oh no, we want to get a shitload of this stuff, take it, hoard it. And then everyone else is going, oh, well, if other people are hoarding it, we're going to miss out. So now everyone's just gone in and bought a heap of it. Yeah. So and that's just happening with everything else as well. So everything's flying off the shelves. I saw this video this morning, actually, kind of unrelated, but it's in a shopping center. There was this lady, and she was tested positive for coronavirus, and she was spitting on bananas and fruit and stuff.
No,
legit, trying to infect other people. No joke. Yeah,
that's
legit.
Fucked, man. See, so
how horrible is that?
We only had one thing like that here that I'm aware of. There was a guy on, I think it was a train. I'm not sure if it was a train or the bus, but he's sitting back, he's on his phone, and he coughs into his hand, like, into his hand. And then he kind of just looks around and wipes it on the pole in front of him. And then the person filming it is just like, what the fuck? And then next thing you know, apparently he got arrested and everything. And like, literally, I don't know if he got jail time or what, but I know he got arrested for it. I'm like, what kind of person is just like, I get it if you're like a 13-year-old kid. I get it. Because you're just trolling with your friends. You're not taking it seriously. Life's all about just ripping the shit out of each other. Then I get it. But when you're a grown adult doing just shit like that, it's like, what is going through your head? Like, it's mad.
And as well, like, if he does have coronavirus, then he could potentially have just caused the death of multiple people.
Yeah,
like that's the thing. It's no joke at all. And I feel like a lot of people still aren't really at that stage where they're taking it as seriously as they need to.
Yeah.
But it's getting there.
It's a tough one because I was a person who was very laid back, and I have actually been wrong about this whole thing twice. So, like 3 weeks ago, when obviously people were reporting about it in China and it was getting bad in China, people here started to panic. And the first prediction I made was, our NHS might make a couple extra adverts saying catch it, bin it, kill it. We'll have a couple more notices on some adverts and things, and we'll go about our business. That was my first prediction. I was wrong there.
Yeah.
My second prediction was actually like a week and a half ago when I was like, we ain't going to go into no lockdown and quarantine. Like, what we'll do is they might shut things for a week or two. They might have a few extra adverts, etc., etc. The NHS and the hospital is going to be busy for a bit. They're going to advise people to stay home, but it's not going to be mandatory. It'll be kind of like an option. It's not going to be a forced thing. And I was also wrong about that. So I'm sitting here quite laid back about it. Still taking a precaution. Like, don't mistake it for me being careless. Doing the whole washing your hands thing. Keeping it contained. If I have any symptoms, I'll keep myself at home completely, etc., etc. But I'm not going to panic. I've not gone and bought 30 toilet roll. I've not gone and ransacked the shelves at the local supermarket. So I've kind of been quite calm about it, should we say. Still cautious, but quite calm. And I know some people that their minds have just gone completely.
I know.
Like, they've already been stuck at home for 3 weeks. They've isolated themselves from like 3 weeks ago. So now they're at the stage where they're wanting to go out. And now it's mandatory to lockdown. And it's like, you called it wrong. I've kind of left it to the last moment possible so that if I have to be at home, even as a key worker, have to be at home, that at least I've saved myself 3 weeks of just stress and just,
Yeah, I get you. Do you remember the Ebola outbreak a couple of years ago?
Yeah, I remember that, and I remember there was a lot of panic about that. But again, I was quite laid back. I was like, that won't reach us here.
But nothing, but it really didn't. Like, there were a few cases here and there and stuff, but it really wasn't as bad. But this one's just like crazy.
Wasn't as bad.
And that one sounds more scary as well, but it's less contagious.
I think Ebola was more scary because I think the death rate was like one of the highest in history. Ebola was like, I don't know what the statistic is now, but the statistic a couple weeks ago for the coronavirus was like 1.5% death rate or something. And again, I could be wrong. It could change now. It could be changed by now. Maybe that was more so just China. Maybe, I'm not too sure. But it was, let's say, no more than 3%. Yeah? Ebola was somewhere around the 40 to 50% mark. Like, that shit, if you got that, like, you dead, motherfucker. Like, you dead.
Yeah.
No matter how old, how healthy you are, you're dead. And so
it's only so long you can bleed from every orifice in your body, so
yeah, Ebola was fucked. Ebola was some Resident Evil shit, in some people's eyes. So that Ebola, but because it was so serious and they knew that straight away, I think they clamped down on it so much quicker. Whereas where this is the flu, there was some wiggle room given. There was a bit of a grey area of, but if you get it, you're all right. And then now they're like, no, if you get it, you're not all right because you can spread it, etc., etc.
Because even Donald Trump came out and said, "Oh, it's just a flu. It's nothing to worry about."
Well, there's been that clip going around of like clips of him saying like 4 months ago, "Man, we'll be all right. We'll be fine." 3 months ago, it's like, "Man, we'll be all right." Last week, it's like, "This shit's serious. Stay at home." Like, and it's just like you didn't have a clue what you were talking about.
There's so many celebrities as well that have been tested positive as well for coronavirus. No Aussie rappers as of yet, I don't think.
No, not to my knowledge, no.
No, okay. There might be some in hiding. They just don't want to come out about it.
There's a reason they're not releasing music right now. It makes sense. It makes sense. Yeah, no, well...
Did you see old mate released that? I can't remember what his name was. I know it was like PH, it was like Felix or something. He like released the first ever coronavirus rap song. Did you see that?
No, I haven't.
Have you seen that? It's actually dope. It's so dope.
All right.
He's like, "Please don't hug me. Please don't touch me. something like, we can't do a handshake, but we'll do something with their feet or whatever, and then they do like this handshake with their feet and shit. And yeah, it's actually
quality,
tight.
man.
It's cool.
Yeah, I mean, there's artists that have been pumping out some content ready from it, which is something that I think it doesn't take a genius to kind of think that. Like, my first thought when they were like, you're gonna have to be on lockdown is, some creatives are gonna really hinder from this, and some creatives are gonna really fucking eat from this well. Like, if you're in that real fine gray area, kind of where I am myself, in terms of you're a creative and you're doing your thing anywhere between part-time to full-time, you might make a little bit of money, but it's not your main source of income. You're not relying on that money, but you've got work, you've got money coming in. If you're at a point where you can purely just focus on this, and money's not a thing, like, you don't need to make money from it, this is like a golden time, because you've got nothing to lose. You've got everything to gain, nothing to lose. Let's say someone who's an established artist who does make a full-time living off of music. This is where it's not so much of a great thing, because they're not going to be able to make as much money as they normally would. Like, yeah, live streams are nice.
Their money off the shows. So
yeah, no,
that's the thing. And if you can't do shows, then especially in Australia where people aren't really hitting those crazy streaming numbers and stuff, like, they need to actually have the live shows to be able to make an income. If they don't have those live shows, then that's their funding gone, essentially. You know.
And that was the point I was going to make. I mean, there's only so much you can monetize being at home, you know? Obviously, it's possible. Don't get me wrong. It's possible. Fucking YouTubers are made a living off of making money from home. But in terms of these artists that, as you said, their main source of income is performing, and or for some people, album sales, like physical hard copies. They're the two main sources of income for artists. And so when you've got someone like IAmChazza who's, you know, planned on doing this tour for however long all around the country, and then that just gets shut down last minute, it's like, oh, what, my plan, my source of income, that's kind of just out the window for now. Obviously it's postponed, and of course he'll do it, and I'm sure because there's even more of a wait, them shows are going to be fucking nuts. I'm sure them shows are going to really pop the fuck off, and I think that
he should just call it the coronavirus tour.
The Corona tour, sponsored by Budweiser. But but you know what I mean, artists, for some that are stuck at home, it's not their main source of income, but they can just fuck around with it. Right now is your time to triple down, and I think that doesn't take a genius to kind of think that. I mean, I said it early on, but it's common sense in my eyes. If you're stuck at home and something is your side hustle, and now you're not at your full-time work that pays the bills, but you can focus on your side hustle, that side hustle for this trial period, it's a trial period on, can you make that full-time, and can you hustle? Can you triple down on this opportunity to put all the time into stuff that you just don't have the time to do normally? Like, we all have that boring shit like, I don't know, I need to clear out the wardrobe, but I ain't got time. I don't want to do that on my only day off of the week. This is now the time to go do that shit. If you wanted to sit down and research fucking Australian hip-hop history, but you don't normally have the time to do it, now's your time to sit down for 8 hours a day and fucking learn. Like, so, I mean, it's a generic message, and lots of people are giving that message right now. A lot of creatives are like, yeah, go do it. I support that. I've said it from early. I'm not going to be like, oh, now I just want to say something different. No. But I definitely think it's a good time for people to triple down if they are able to.
Yeah, and it's good as well because it's not just like there's a select group of people that are in lockdown, it's everyone. So all the artists are all locked down, all of them are going to have nothing to do but work, so work on music, etc. And a lot of them have like home studio setups and stuff like that, so they can still make music, and then as well they can just collaborate with as many artists as they want online, and everyone's going to have the time to do it as well. It's not like people's schedules aren't going to line up and stuff. Like, everyone's just going to be able to, as you said, double down and just like work on making music. So I reckon, for sure, 2020 is going to be a big year once we come out of this little slump, but it could last 6 to 8 months. Is the thing.
This is the thing. I mean, I'm ready for my third prediction. It's going to be wrong. I'm predicting and I'm going to only speak on behalf of the UK just because I don't know where, other country situations are. I know China's come out the back end of it. They've just been, I think it's today actually, they've just come out of quarantine, as in people are slowly starting to go back into their daily lives. I think a few days ago things started opening up, but now people are allowed out of their homes. So they're at the back end of this, but they nipped it in the bud very quick. Like, they were quick to get on top of this shit. And if you look at Asian culture in China, Japan, Korea, etc., they walk around with masks anyway. Like, they are quite self-contained with germs and things like that on a regular basis, let alone, like, they didn't have to learn half of this shit. Like, when they said quarantine, everyone stay at home, they stayed at home. And so, the UK, I know that's not the case. We have taken a long time to get to this point. And our numbers are actually matching with Italy right now, in terms of where Italy was at when they first locked down. So, it's scary for us here.
It's fucked as well for you guys because you're in such a small country and there's so many of you. Like, your population
is so densely populated. I mean, we've got like, I think 26 million in the UK and like 8 million of us are in London. And London is not even the size. Somebody told me a statistic compared to Sydney. Somebody look it up. If I'm really good, I'll fucking put it on the screen now. But London is like a fraction of the size of Sydney. And it's like, but we've got like a bigger population or something, and it's just like I mean, 100%. Right now, within 100 meters of me, I've probably got close to 1,000 people. If you did like a circle of 100 meters around me, I live in a block of flats where there's like 82 flats as it is, and then there's like a whole row of houses here, whole row of houses that side, like blocks on the other side of the road. So like, we are all so densely like popped in, and I am in like London. There's an area of London where they're like, it's London, it's not London, it's outside, but. So either way, I'm only going to speak on behalf of London, but I reckon that this will be over for us personally by about early to mid-May. So let's say between the 1st and the 15th of May, I reckon that's when we're going to go, you're out of quarantine now, go about your business. But I could be wrong. Why? Because I've been wrong twice. So I don't know shit, apparently. That's what I personally think, but we'll have to see. I mean, it looks like Italy are nowhere near, like, coming out of it, and if our numbers match up and if we're going to be the same there, then well, what's going to happen? So we don't know. What's your prediction? Come on, what does your magic apple say for Australia?
I reckon it'll take about 2 months for us to be in the clear, just because it takes about 2 weeks for it to actually come out of your system, and there's still going to be that initial period where people are going into lockdown, etc. Some people won't be going into lockdown properly, other people will be working, it'll be spreading at work. And of course, it takes 2 weeks, 14 days for you to go through that, the cycle, I guess, for coronavirus and get it out of your system. So, I'd say about 2 months is like that. That's like a super positive guess. Like that's a very generous guess. I reckon it could even be a lot longer than that. I mean, if the experts are estimating up to 6 months, then it'll probably be around the 5-month mark, probably. But again, I'm no fucking expert.
It's just that's what your magic
one thing. Yeah, one thing you said before about like China nipping it in the bud straight away. Their like virus research center is only like 20 kilometers away from where the virus broke out, and I think it was actually strategically placed there because they knew that those areas in China were prone to disease and stuff because of the different foods that they use and like. You know, like eating bats and doing things like this, like they're
we know this could wipe out half the world, but you know what? We're gonna continue to eat it. Just have a little pasta, big man. Like, why do we need to eat bat? Just go catch a Nando's or something. It doesn't need to happen.
But motherfucker thought he could eat the bat and turn into Batman.
No, like, Wombat. I blame Wombat. But yeah, it's shit. This shit's crazy, man. In terms of, I don't think anyone knew it was gonna get this big. Like, there's all these conspiracy theories. I still ain't looked up after chatting with River City, after chatting with Krez, after mentioning the Wuhan 400. I still ain't looked up this shit, but long story short, there's a book from 1981. They say the Wuhan 400. In the year around 2020, it's bang on 2020 in like the first 3 months, so you know what I'm just saying. There will be an outbreak, there will be a disease that wipes out like half of the world. It's the perfect chemical weapon because it doesn't destroy plants, it doesn't affect animals, it's just humans. It doesn't live outside of the human body for more than an hour. So it just affects humans. And there was a whole crazy thing, and that was written in 1981. And that was said it's going to come out of Wuhan, and it's going to be in and around the year of 2020. Big man, this shit started in what, January 2020? Like, you couldn't make this shit. I think they might be on set, but I ain't into no conspiracy, so.
I'm going to look that up.
Wuhan 400. I'm telling you, I should have looked it up after the last podcast. Yeah, man. That shit's just. This is what I need. One day, if we get there to the point where we have an established podcast and I have a screen man and I have people, I'm going to be telling somebody behind the camera, look that shit up. I'll be doing a Joe Rogan. Jamie, look that shit up. So, Yeah, man. I think it's just crazy how much this has all come out. But I want to touch on a point you said earlier about like artists collaborating and being able to hit each other up, and everyone's at home, so everyone should answer the phone. Now, I sent a text message to somebody. Okay, it was somebody that's a friend.
Okay.
And I got a reply saying, "Sorry, I was busy." 8 hours later. Now, in these quarantine times when you're at home, explain to me how you're too busy to answer the phone. Bitch be on Instagram 12 hours a day posting 10 memes on her story. But you didn't see them. Nah. There's some people that are being real crafty. Like, there's certain shit that just don't work no more. You can't do the, sorry, I was at work. Bitch, you work in H&M. It's shut. Primark is shut. Go home. You're at home. Like,
so you feel like everyone's using it like as an excuse to get away with sneaky shit now?
Yeah, I don't think people can get away with that shit now. Like, there's certain, think about it. The dynamic of certain things changes. If you haven't paid your rent and the bailiffs come round, you can't pretend to not be at home. Like, everyone's at home right now. Like, there's no avoiding that shit. The one thing that is interesting as well is out of these key workers, the essential workers. I don't know about Australia, but here, the ticket man, checking all the parking spots. He's still walking around with that damn machine.
Oh, get
what
so while everyone's at home and has to park, he's out there.
He's out there with his tickets. I've seen it. He's having a field day. He's skipping down the road. He ain't even walking. How is that an essential worker? Please explain to me. Like, doctors, nurses, delivery drivers, people who own shops and people who work in supermarkets. Yes, key essential workers right now. The ticket man? Like, you're not even allowed to leave your house to go pay for your ticket. Like, nah, man. This shit's
gotta get that revenue, does.
Yeah, people are just trying to make a quick buck. Like, they ain't checking that ticket for a hot minute. Like, no way, man.
I've seen a couple of videos of Aussies having to go at like highway patrols and stuff for pulling them over and ticketing them for just like dumb stuff. Because it's like, you know, everyone's in this time of need. Everyone needs money. People's jobs are getting cut. You know, everyone, you know, is at a loss. And yeah, there's still highway patrols going out there and taking advantage and basically pushing their power on people.
How is that possible? Nah. I don't believe it. You know what I think? I think there was somebody who dressed up as a traffic warden for Halloween. And he has kept this outfit. And he's thought, you know what?
Okay.
In this time, when there's quarantine, you know, people are busy, you know, and roads are empty. So people are naturally going to bump up their speed anyway. Not going to be much traffic. Just saying. So why don't we get back in that Halloween outfit? Why don't we get a fake machine that really don't scan the speed of cars? It scans products in a supermarket. Yeah? And they're pretending to buzz people, pull them over, and they're like, cash in hands. You bring your ticket to me right now, and we'll slip this to the side, my friend.
It's like you scan them or whatever, and then you show them the number on the back of the thing, and it just says $13, and they go like, "Oh yes, he's right."
Yeah. Why is there a barcode, big man? Yeah. Barcode. They're gonna be replacing license plates soon, my friend. We're advanced technology now.
Exactly. They're just like, why does that say $13.48? That's how much your ticket costs. It estimates how much
a Toyota. I do not drive a chicken fillet 3-piece. That doesn't add up. Yeah, man. Right. I think there's some money to be made there. Just cash in hand. Who's gonna stop you? Like, even down to police here. So one thing I read about Australia, and I don't know how true this is, Corona, is your fine system. So if you're caught out in public when you don't need to, you can get fined. And it depends on what state you're in. Like, apparently the worst one is Perth. I see something that said $50,000 and up to 12 months of jail time. Now, that didn't look real to me, but I don't know. Are the fines really that deep?
I haven't seen that. I know that if you're going to cross the border, I think from New South Wales into South Australia, I saw earlier today, I think that's a $20,000 fine. Which is really high. I know that people, like, you know, one of my mates is a tattoo artist, and I know that if he goes and tattoos people at this point in time when all the tattoo parlors are shut down and
Yeah.
stuff, he could get large fines. Not sure how big those fines are, but I know he could even get jail time as well.
That's crazy. Here,
Yeah.
they're just going, £30 fine and go home. Like, that is literally what they're doing here. £30, which is like $55, $60. Yeah?
Yeah.
That is what they're doing here. Man, I was reading this thing and it was like 50,000 in West Australia. It was, I don't know exactly, but it was like New South Wales, like 10,000 and 6 months jail time. And then the lowest was like, I don't know, it was somewhere, and it was like $3,000. I was like, what? That shit is crazy.
I would say it's like that, partially because, they obviously don't want people to get infected. Also, I would say the other thing is, raising funds, because we've got Centrelink here. So like government assistance and stuff, you get a certain amount every single week. And the amount that everyone's getting fortnightly has raised by about $500. And then other people, if they lose their job as a casual worker, the government will pay them $700 a fortnight. So it's good that we've got that there. But I mean, obviously, the government needs to recoup some of that money somehow as well. So that's probably partially some of those fines.
Yeah, I think it's partly that, and it's partly a deterrent as well. It's kind of just no one wants to pay $20,000. You know what I mean? Like no one wants to do that. So I think it's more to scare people away. But if it puts money in their back pocket, of course, that's why fines are here. It's amazing how fines are, they will always say it's to deter people and scare people off, but ultimately, it makes them money. Like, why do you think parking tickets are given as fines and not jail time? Because they don't want to jail someone for parking in the wrong space. If they just want to make money. Like, shit. Like, yeah, man. So, it's crazy. I mean, here, they have offered to pay, I think, up to 80% of people's wages, up to a certain amount. And then, but the big one here is if you're a casual worker, like you didn't have contracted hours, if you've been laid off of work, like they're not paying that. There's nothing they can do right now. So they're kind of working on a system. Other people are working on systems that will work for them. But right now, 80% of the pay. I'm still getting full pay, but I'm still working. So, yeah.
I guess that system actually makes sense for the casual workers to be let go, because usually, like, anyone who's older and has, more responsibility, like they have kids or they've got a mortgage, car loan, whatever, they usually have a permanent placement. Yeah. So it makes sense that they would get reimbursed that, whereas the casual workers, the majority of the time would be like younger people, kids, people who don't have the car. Yeah, but
the problem is with that, like I know grown people that are supporting families off of casual contracts, like casual hours. They still work full hours. Like I've only had a contracted hours job since last September, since September 2019. All before that, my first 4 years of coaching was all on a 2-hour-a-week contract. So I was only contracted 2 hours, but I was still working like 45 hours. Like I was still working full time. Yeah, well. But it was just, I was only contracted a certain amount. So then the rest of my pay was technically overtime, even though I did those hours on a regular basis. Like I was a teacher in like certain schools, and it was still only casual, technically speaking. Okay. And so there are plenty of people that are in the same boat as what I was in. I'm lucky to have a contract now. I mean, I still get paid during like the holiday times here. And before, I would always work the holidays because I wouldn't get paid in that time otherwise. And I still work the holiday hours now because then I can double up. I get my contracted hours, plus I work the holidays, so I just get overtime. So I just double up my money in that time, and that's where I've been saving up to travel to Australia. But with this happening, luckily I've still got my contracted hours. I just can't double up on overtime. But there's plenty of people on casual hours that have been fucked over by this. So I hear what you're saying, but there's some people who have really been fucked over, and they've offered out jobs. Like hospitals are like, we need volunteers, but they're not paying. But there has been like paid jobs. Like I didn't realize delivery companies are still going strong. Like food places are still open. You can't eat in, but you can deliver home. I didn't think that shit would still 100%. Be running, but they are making bank right now.
They would be. Is Uber Eats still going?
Uber Eats is still going here anyway. Deliveroo, Just Eat, all of the big ones are still going strong. And like even like my kebab shop where I go to down at the bottom of the road, he's like boarded up like the door, but then he has the window open. So like he's been handing out the deliveries out to the delivery drivers through the window. It's like mad. He's like shut down the shop, but he's still doing the food for deliveries. It's like what?
That's awesome.
What? Like so.
That's awesome. It still is that outlet for those businesses.
Well, for those private companies, like McDonald's, I'm sure you'll be fine. Subway, I'm sure you'll be fine. But these private businesses, like they're not gonna make money, and they've not frozen like the council tax or the rents, and so obviously from business terms, whatever you need to pay, like your plot rent or whatever it is, like that shit's not been frozen here, so people are still got to pay bills. So for people who own independent businesses, they've got to run strong, man, through this time.
Struggling.
And so and I think they can get away with being open as long as they prove that they're not letting anyone eat in. I mean, Bossman boarded up his front like it was a zombie apocalypse. I think he'll be fine, but it's like people who I'm due a haircut right now. My barber's is shut, so I'm upset now. I'm upset. I might just grow it out until I got like a WWE haircut, or we could just shave it all off and go.
Just shave it off.
Breaking Bad, yeah.
I reckon just do a full mullet, just shave it all the way back, and keep it long.
You know what? It's funny actually, because I joked about this a couple weeks ago on an Instagram live in the morning, and I was like, I might get a mullet. I might just shave the sides and just keep growing the top till it's all the way down here, curling and flicking at the back. And someone said, yeah, get a mullet, and I went, nah, because in Australia that's accepted. I've seen plenty of people have the mullet, but here, I've not seen a mullet in forever. I don't think in my lifetime I've seen a genuine mullet on someone who isn't dressed up as a metalhead in an emo bar with spikes on his outfit. Unless he's wearing that, I have not seen someone wear a mullet, have a mullet here. But I made that joke a few days ago, just a few days before this quarantine thing rolls around. In the school I teach at year 3, we'll call him Jimmy. He looks like a Jimmy.
Yeah.
Jimmy comes in, not with a bowl cut, not with a shaved head. He comes in with a mullet. Now, after me joking about this, I've had a look at this. I've assessed the situation. He's had a skin fade at the sides into a mullet. And I'm looking at little Jimmy over here. And I'm like, top 5 haircuts of all time. Of any kids I've taught,
I reckon
top 5. It's gotta be
100%.
And it just reminded me that it is not accepted here in the UK. A mullet is just not acceptable here. It's just not in with the times. It's just not. He has been ripped.
It's only just recently become with the times in Australia. Like I remember in high school, 2017 was around when the mullet started kind of coming back in, and it came back in as a joke. Like everyone was like, "Oh yeah, isn't this funny?" And they'd fucking shave it back into a mullet, and it just looked horrible. And everyone was doing that as a joke, and then it just kind of took off in the last year, really. Now everyone's doing the clean fades, and they do like the mohawks and that now.
Yeah.
Into like, that looks cool, I reckon. But when you just do like a full everything shaved, and then you've just got hair on the back, that's it.
I know some of these haircuts are looking crazy. Like I remember when I first started reacting to Oz rap, and there was like people with and I'm seeing like mullets on rappers. And obviously, coming from the UK and obviously growing up with American shit, like, I'm not used to seeing a mullet on someone who's dropping bars like this. It just doesn't add up for me. Like, even down to, like, people who have, like, it tied back. Like, when I first seen Rops's haircut, I was like, Rops, you're cold, but the haircut doesn't. I'm not used to seeing it. And it, like, if I didn't know you, like, it suits you. But something doesn't add up in my brain either. Like, it was just so strange to see in some ways. Like, it's kind of crazy to see it like that.
It's cool, though, because it's a visual representation of Australian culture.
Yes, definitely. And I think that you got to lean into that, if anything. Like, who am I to say, oh, you can't look like that? No, that's sick. Like, and now I look at someone like HP Boys or something. I'm like, it's just part of the look. Like, you've just, you know what I mean? It looks normal to me now. Like, after experiencing like the scene for so long. But haircuts is a strange thing, because I thought the mullet was like something that was a trend back in like the 80s. Am I right, or am I wrong?
Yeah,
that was like an 80s
no, it's
thing.
An 80s thing. Yeah,
and then
it used to be huge in Australia as well. Like my mum had a mullet. She had it like permed though.
Yeah.
So it was like all curly. It went back to this mullet. Oh, I don't know why.
And you start thinking of like Grease and shit like that. Like yeah. What was like the trending haircut when you was in school?
Trending haircut.
Just for context, how old are you?
Same age as you, 21. So for me, it depends what year you're talking about, but around the time Justin Bieber came in, we all had the fringe.
Shit. Yeah.
and then really like, I don't know, man. I feel like everyone just had like a normal haircut. Like, actually, no. The thing that everyone always did was everyone always had a flat cap, like a snapback, and they'd either put it back or forward, and they'd have their hair like coming out under the bottom, like
no,
curled like that.
yeah. The
That
skater
was
boy look. The skater
100%.
boy, as I know.
Everyone had that. 100% everyone had that. That was the most common one. And then, the Justin Bieber fringes, that was really common.
Yeah.
And then if it wasn't that, then people would just shave their head to like a buzz cut, and that was it.
Yeah.
Those are like the three. What about you?
So when I was in primary school, everyone kind of started spiking up their hair. That was a popular thing. Like, if you was black, you had black hair. It's always been a shape up. It's always been about the fresh trim, getting the chalk on the lines, everything. If you were black, and if you were white, it was always spiking up your hair. And I was one of them. I used to put half a tub of gel in my hair. That shit was a weapon. I remember, funny enough, one day I put so much in my hair, and I just spiked it. Like, I was feeling myself, fresh trim and all. Like, it was a 2-day-old haircut. You know, when you get a haircut, you gotta leave it a couple days before it feels right. The fresh one don't feel right. Leave it a few days. But I remember spiking it up, and this shit was like rock. And I remember playing around with my mate, and I must have headbutt him, and I literally like cut his nose. Like, this shit was a fucking weapon. Like, I kind of accidentally brushed past and sliced his nose open and like partly onto his cheek, like a line like that, straight across. I was like, this shit's a weapon. Like, I started running around, like, headbutting everyone and shit. Like, what did you guys like? Imagine being in prison. Like, what you in for? Yeah, I don't know, hit and run, left him. Shut him. I was like, bow, bow, bow. What you in for? I headbutt him because I had a bit too much VO5 in my ear. Like, it's just, that shit's just crazy. But secondary school, the spike in the hair got out of fashion. I think, I think the same with you, like growing your hair out. I definitely did that. It was all influenced by like rappers and pop stars from that era though. Like, I can't remember who it was who had the spiked hair. I'm just thinking of one. I remember like in noughties, you had like the rock bands. I know it were like with like Busted and McFly and shit like that. I know they was like spiking up their hair, but in terms of like rap culture, I don't know. Cause I guess in terms of rap culture, everyone was kind of trying to copy Eminem. Everyone was dyeing their hair blonde and shaving it short, and like white people wearing do-rags and shit. Like, that was that's how hip hop influenced fucking haircuts here. But yeah, I mean, if you were black, I mean, in secondary school, it was always afros. People were growing out their hair. It was like, who can have the best fro? And it was making sure that shit looked clean as well. But going into college, I think that's when people started to be a bit more independent. People started doing their own shit. Like, now people are doing some crazy shit. Like, people are just going like, I know people who go into the barbers and they're like, just give me something new. And they're getting some, and sometimes it pops and it looks like great. And then sometimes you're looking at it like, nah, that ain't it, chief. Like, I feel like now it's just like, whatever the fuck. Like, I don't know what to do with my hair. I've already said before, if I could grow a beard, which, I mean, I can't go facial hair.
It's like the facial hair's been consistent for everyone through high school. It was just like the seedy pedo mode.
Yeah, that's it.
Like 14 or 15 to now. That's all.
Yeah. I
need some beard oil for real. Try and grow this shit out.
You've got this one. I've got a light one. It's funny. I remember seeing a comment on a video and it was like, Chaz has finally grown facial hair. He's growing up in front of our very own eyes. I'm like, I've had this tash. It's been the same tash since I was like 13. And it's grown to this and it's never grown since. And people are like, shave it. And I'm like, no. Because if you shave it, it's going to grow back more. I can't deal with this. So I've kind of always left it as it is. I've got the whole of like 6 chin hairs, but you won't see that on camera. I got like 6 hairs on my chin. Like, shave them, like 8 come back. You shave them, like 10 come back. We're growing population.
Next video, just zoom in like really fucking close.
Just to the chin. You'll see me sometimes do it as well. It's funny because I think it was in the hooks, in the Fame video. The hefts are fuck all my enemies, yeah. I'm sitting there and I'm like, hooks. And I'm doing this. And it's like, because I'm playing with this one hair that I've got here. And I remember seeing a comment, it's like, why is he stroking his imaginary beard? Like, it makes no sense.
In every single video, you should have like a hair count, and like every single time you do a video and you have a new hair, you like zoom in and you like count them.
That should just be my intro, innit? I should just zoom into like 6 heads and it zooms out and it's just like Chazza, and it's just like my character of me like that. but with like the
See, that-
6 hairs on the chin.
That's a better way to be, though. I'm like growing out the bushy eyebrows and shit. Like, I've got too much facial hair. My missus has to like pluck my eyebrows and shit.
That right? Can I just commend women real quick, okay? And I know this is low on your list. Plucking your eyebrows hurts. Like that shit
it does.
hurts when
It's
you get
not
it on
fun.
the inside here. I've only ever had it once. Okay, I remember letting a friend do it back when I was like 15. And it was just because I wanted her to touch my face, really. It was just one of them ones. But I remember her plucking my eyebrows, and that shit hurt. Now, given I think she did it wrong because I started bleeding at one point. She must have plucked it out sideways or some shit. I started bleeding, like she must have caught it the wrong way. But that shit hurt, man. My eyebrow was red for like 2 days straight. Like, nah, man.
Yes. I reckon up under here hurts most for me.
Yeah, I got it under here on the inside is where I had it the most. Like, yeah, that shit weren't nice.
Yeah.
Man.
Yeah, women are the real men.
Well,
yeah,
that's
see,
the
no,
thing, innit?
boys,
There's always that
fully
debate
fucking-
of like, nothing compares to childbirth, and it's like, well, we won't ever know. Like, so much we say, we can't ever complain. I mean, the man flu, they won't ever know about the man flu though. When a man gets flu for real, nah, nothing compares to it. I don't care.
Nothing.
Childbirth ain't shit. All right, maybe. All right, let me rule back on that statement because I'm gonna cop a lot of hate for that shit. But no, on a level, like you just don't know, do you?
No, exactly. That's it.
So
But
yeah.
I mean, you could just get, gender transfer. You could just become a woman and have a baby, and then you'll know.
I'm sure I read something like that where a man become a woman, but then he still had a child. So I'm like, but then it turns out it was a woman who become a man who then had surgery again, become a woman. Oh, I don't know, man. This shit's getting confusing.
I did see one guy where I'm pretty sure he had like the fetus or the egg or whatever put
Yeah, I remember
into
that was.
And then he basically like hosted the baby, I guess.
Yeah.
Is that what you say?
Yeah.
Hosted the growth of the baby, and then it just got a C-section to get it cut out.
Yeah.
But I don't know whether that. I might just be talking shit here. Like I might have just seen this somewhere.
No.
It's
I'm sure
completely
I seen that.
impossible.
I'm sure I see an article, and again, how true this is, I don't know, but where it was a man became the woman and the woman became the man, and the woman got the man pregnant.
I've seen that.
I
yeah.
was like,
yeah.
huh?
No. So it was a relationship
Yeah.
between these two people, and both of them did the gender switch
Yeah.
same times. And then had the kid. Yeah,
I don't
confusing,
know
isn't
if
it?
that shit's
But
amazing or just I don't know, man.
The thing is, I know exactly what you're talking about. They didn't actually have a gender transfer. They just cross-dressed. Do you know what I mean? They just changed roles, but didn't actually exchange. Yep. So
that shit's insane. Like, you know what? I don't understand it, but I'm all for like LGBTQTs. I think I said that right. And people who be what you want to be. As long as you're not harming someone, as long as you're not harming anybody else, go for it. But there is always that interesting debate of identifying as whatever you want. Like, again, it's a touchy subject to talk on, and I'm not researched on this. I'm not fully informed, so I'm just gonna touch on it briefly and then keep it moving. But why can't I identify as a tree?
I identify as a attack helicopter. So
why not? If you want to be an AC-130 and 11 kill streak, go for it. Like, why not? Like, I always thought that was an interesting one, but I'm gonna move on because I know that's a touchy subject in a lot of people's eyes. Imagine if you had stock shares in Netflix, Spotify, even Amazon now.
Pornhub.
Pornhub. Wow. Pornhub Premium.
Now is the time to film yourself wanking and open an OnlyFans. Now is the time.
There's a time to get into porn, masturbation videos. Listen, now is the time. Now is the market. I'm telling you. I was looking around on Pornhub for research purposes, and I noticed certain videos. Every video on the homepage is like 2 million plus. Like, normally I get one suggested that's on, I don't know, 35,000, 100,000. Everything is in the millions. Now, they must be making bank.
You get about $900 per million views.
What?
I've been looking into it.
Research purposes. Research purposes. But
I don't want to be a porn star.
could you imagine how many like cam girls, live Jasmine, them ones, and they're on their webcam and they're doing all the gold members only. They've got to be making bank right now. And as time goes on, I'm sure more and more, because where people are stuck at home, they can't get their booty call. Their booty call's pretending to be busy at home. And so now they're like, when you get desperate, you start making bad decisions. Next thing you know, you've got a live webcam premium account. And you're putting money in a girl's back pocket because she's sitting there going, woohoo. Like, nah, man. That shit's insane.
I'm telling you, grapefruits and microwaves are flying off the shelves.
When you got the little pocket, what are they called? The pocket pussies? Listen.
Little Leonard the Plug or Kim Kardashian pocket
Riley
pussies.
Reid is making bank right now. Let me tell you that, huh? Research purposes. I only know these things for research purposes.
Oh, 100%. Yeah.
But just on an interesting, just on a very quick one, and we'll keep it moving straight after. For research purposes only, and again, just out of curiosity, it's not that we've looked into it long or anything like that. Who's your favorite?
Who's my favorite?
I think I go through phases.
I switch.
Yeah, I go through phases. I mean, there was a time where I was into some weird shit, and I look at it now and I'm like, why was I typing that in? And I mean,
yeah,
just what's
I just wanted to see how tentacles got up in there. I just
man, like, nah, man. You ever do that? You type in something, you watch something, you do your business, you get the shoulder shaking and all sorts, and then next thing you know, you sit there, you finish, and you're disappointed with yourself. You're like, did I really just to that? And did I really? Whoa, like you start doubting yourself and shit. Like I've done them.
I'm like mad picky now. Like I used to just go like, oh yeah, that straight away and click on it. Now I'll spend 10 minutes scrolling until I find the perfect video, and I'll go, this is one, and then I'll watch it.
And you've gone soft because you're spending too long trying to find the video.
No, really, I just like get off on the scrolling part. It's just like I just really like the homepage on Pornhub. I'm just sitting there like,
you're on the video for the whole of 20 seconds. You do your business. You spend 10 minutes scrolling through 20 seconds. You do your business.
That's literally me.
Research purposes only. Research purposes.
But anyway, yeah, exactly.
Yeah, moving on. But no, on a serious note, if you've got stock shares in something like Netflix right now, you've got to be over the moon. Like, there are people that are profiting off of this situation like crazy.
Yeah.
Like, owning shares
I
in
think
something.
this lasts like around 6 months. A lot of different businesses obviously going to go out of business. So I think in 6 months, if you were thinking about starting up a business, out the end of this coronavirus epidemic would be the time to start something. 100%.
It's crazy, like how many opportunities are going to come out of this, which is sad. Like, it's a good thing in some ways, and obviously it's a sad thing that people can profit off of a terrible situation ultimately. But yeah, man, I mean, if you just have a share in anything that's big right now, it's crazy. I know somebody who invests like not crazy amounts, but invests into stocks, and every one of his stocks just crashed, obviously, with what's going on. And then he was talking to like his financial advisor, and he's like, oh, but because this crashed, like, should I invest in this now to try and like recoup? And she's like, you wouldn't catch a falling knife. And I was like, yeah, that's kind of true. And so it's kind of just like where things are you think it's bad right now. Let's say the world just went into lockdown, it's only gonna get worse. Like, there's just hold on out. I know there's plenty of opportunities. Like, I know, looking at flights to Australia, flights to Melbourne and back for me was going to be anywhere between £1,600 to £1,800. Wow. And then now with all of this going on, I can go to like Melbourne and back for like £600, and it's just like,
what?
Oh, I so want to book it, but I don't know if I'm going to be allowed into the country, and I don't know when. So it's like, when do I book it for? Like, even if they open their borders up, are they like? I think it's difficult enough getting into Australia anyway. Especially if I'm going to be doing shows and shit. Like, if we're talking about a working visa, that shit ain't going to be easy for me. So, obviously, we're on holiday. But,
you could just book it for, like, a year from now. So, you get that cheap ticket in and then prepare everything
but then
around
I want to come sooner than that. And then it's just like, but how soon can I call it? And then Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a difficult one. It is a difficult one. Because if the shit's 500, boy, I have enough money right now to book that shit. And my interstate flights and accommodation. Like, man ain't got to be calling up no one to be like, can I stay at yours? No, man will be living 4-star hotels at this rate. But I just don't know
100%.
when the thing's going to open up. So if anyone can put 2 and 2 together, then yeah.
What's the plan for you, bros? Like, where do you want to see yourself a year, next year? Speaking of booking tickets for next year, where do you want to be?
Next year, so what are we going to say, like, as in, like, January 1st, 2021, or are we saying, like, March 2021? Or just in general?
Just in general, man. Like, where do you want to be next year?
My plan's a little bit more long term. I'm gonna kind of alter that a little bit and kind of cheat, and I'll come full circle with it, I guess.
Actually, just say end goal.
Yeah,
What's the end goal?
I've said by 2023, so it could be in 6 months' time, but by the latest 2023, I don't want to be doing reaction videos. So I don't want to be known as the reaction guy. I don't mind being associated with the Oz scene. I want to be associated with the Oz scene. I don't mind being known as an artist, a reviewer, a podcast, just a fucking media outlet. I don't mind being any of those things, if not something that I haven't touched on yet. But what I don't want to be is the reaction guy. The reason for that is I believe I bring more to the table than just reactions. So I want to worm my way into, by 2023, being able to have enough sustainable things outside of reactions, because there's no denying, if I do a 1-4 reaction, it's gonna be the thing that propels my views, propels my subscribers, gets more like monetization than other videos. It just does, because the views are insane on those things, like the Hefts videos, the Young and Lips videos, the things like that. They just get more views than other shit. It just does. Like, this podcast will probably in a week have around anywhere to 500 to 1,000 views, depending on what I title it, to be fair. That's the honest truth. If I click the shit out of this, 20,000 views. But honestly,
just title it NoCaseNone scrolls Pornhub for 10 minutes, then wanks for 20 seconds.
Yeah, see, even that, I've got to say, like, 1-4 locked up, enters pissed off, and something else. But I'm not even going to touch on that. We're going to keep it moving. But those videos, those ones get more views. So let's say 500 to 1,000 views. But if I go and react to, like, I just did a reaction to, the My Uso remix with Lisi and Standard's remix with Lisi and who's the other big don in there? Fucking, I'm so sorry, my guy. I fucking can picture your face as well. Either way, but My Uso remix that I just did, and it got like 30, it's on like 25,000-30,000 views, whatever it's on. And again, that video takes me 45 minutes to make, let's say. 45 minutes to an hour. And so you do that, and then we record for around an hour doing this podcast, and then editing, going through, cleaning up the audio the best I can, etc., etc. And, it gets way less. But this is the shit that I kind of enjoy more. And it's not that I'm sick of reactions. Like, my reactions are genuine at the end of the day, but ultimately, I just want to be able to do this shit full time. And being able to, if you're telling me I don't have to work and I can kind of just do what I want, which is just making content, I'm going to do this shit full time. I mean, ultimately, let's say the 5 to 10 year goal would be whether I'm living here or whether I'm living in Australia, because I'm unsure, but it's definitely an option for me to live in Australia. For me to have my own office away from work, like my own office space going, and I have like a small team. I have an editor for me. I have somebody that's, admin. I have someone who's management. I have like a studio there. I also have like this kind of recording studio. Then I have, just kind of just the resources to go to work and just be creative for 6 to 10 hours a day. Like, that is the ultimate goal.
How do you plan to, because obviously you're an artist as well. How do you plan to kind of incorporate being an artist into also being this internet personality, like having the channel and stuff? Like, they're like, obviously they're based around the same content, the music, but they're two completely opposite angles.
Yeah, I've already had this thought of, let's say for argument's sake, the music was the thing that popped. Like, let's say I got as big as a Chillin' It or an Alex Jones or a Lips, let's say. Then how sustainable is making videos? Like, if I'm going on tour, I'm not exactly going to be making these kind of, you know, and that's where it gets into a gray area. That's why I feel like something like a podcast would work well. If I was an artist and had a podcast, I don't know how many active artists have a podcast. Like, I know Joe Budden did it and then transitioned into full-time doing a podcast now. But how many people, like, is doing this shit at the same time? I think there's a market there for someone to do it. Like, you're telling me you wouldn't want to hear... I wouldn't say someone young, definitely in the latter stages of their career. Someone like an Eminem. If Eminem had a podcast, he'd easily be one of the top 5 podcasts in the world. Easily.
That'd be mad.
Just because it's Eminem, and he could just share stories about things and kind of go into the realm. Like, I try and give my advice to artists. Not that, you know, obviously that's the gray area with me. I'm not a big successful artist, but I'm telling other artists and I'm giving them their criticism. I'm telling them what to do. You know what I mean? That's where it gets into a grey area, and I cop a lot of stick for that. And so that's why I always say, but who am I? Like, this is just my opinion. And so I cop a lot of shit for that, but I guess it's not been done before, and I'm not afraid to try it. Like, I've not seen any reaction artists do these live streams. I give it a go. It didn't work out for me, but I'm sure that if someone was to look at what I did, I know that if I was to ever get interested in doing that again, I know what things I would change 100%. To make them work even better. And some people are like, they were amazing as what they were, like, do them again. But something
do you feel like do you feel like you know, doing the reaction videos and stuff, obviously not always you're gonna have a positive feedback? Like, you obviously you have constructive criticism, but do you feel like that kind of gets in the way of relationships with artists that you would want to work with as an artist yourself?
I feel like it can do, definitely. I mean, if we're talking about on a personal level, if an artist is gonna get funny about me criticizing their work, which I would like to say 100% of the time, I always do it in the most respectful way I possibly can. Like, even if I'm like, look, this isn't for me. There's only been once or twice I've turned around and gone, this is shit. Like, there's only once or twice I've turned around and said that. Oftentimes, I'll say, like, you know, I'm not really feeling this track. But I can understand why people like it, but this is why I don't like it. Love, respect to so and so. If they take personal offense to that, I can understand. I've talked about this a lot recently, so, you know, we'll kind of just glaze over it real quick. But if someone's gonna get funny about that, then maybe they're not a person who I'm gonna get on with, because I'm a person who I'd like to say is gonna tell you as it is, not just for the sake of it, always for good reason. But I'm not gonna lie. Sometimes I may not always tell the truth. For example, I'm not gonna 24/7 every person I pass, this is what I think about you. Sometimes it's just not needed. Sometimes just keep that shit to yourself. But if you ask me, then yes, I'm going to give you my honest opinion. And
time and place.
And so, right. So if somebody is gonna find offense to that, then maybe we shouldn't have any personal relationship. Maybe it should just stay as business. And so, yes, it can get in the way. I know that I've criticized, for example, and I'm sure you won't mind me saying this, but actually no, I'm not gonna say who it was. But there's a big artist who's massively helped me, who's, you know, made a lot of promises back and forth. We've agreed to work on a lot of things, and them things have never materialized. And I've always said, like, love and respect to this person. Every time they drop a track, I'm gonna react to their shit. Why? Because I have massive respect for them. But on a business relationship, they don't ever hold up their end of the bargain. And I've criticized one of their songs in terms of, I'm like, you know what? This song's good, but you have such a high standard. I hold you to such a high standard that you can do better than this. And where I do respect them, they've DM'd me and they're like, fuck you, bruv. Like, I've helped you through all of this shit and da-da-da-da. And we worked it out in the DMs, and ultimately comes to the conclusion of, all right, fair enough, I jumped the gun. Like, I understand that you're just being honest. You have shown me love. Let's work together. And then them things never materialize. But yeah, it can get in the way of a relationship with somebody when they take offense to it. But I've had that with certain artists, and they've DM'd me, and we've worked it out, and we keep it moving. And some have emphasized, look, we're just gonna have to keep this business related if you're gonna be criticizing my work, etc., etc. And I just see it as, look, you'd be equally as pissed if I was to kiss your ass. If I was to lick your ass and only say positive shit to the point where you could smell the bullshit, then that would be equally as bad. So I'd rather just say it as it is, accept it for what it is or what it isn't. At the end of the day, if you make good music, I'm gonna like it. So it can get in the way.
Yeah, what do you think of, like, the majority of the Australian hip hop media platforms and stuff? Because I feel like a lot of people just do that kissing ass thing that you were talking about. and are really realistic. They don't really actually say what they think in 90% of the scenarios that they put in.
Which is
How
fine.
do you feel?
Which is fine. In my opinion, that's fine. If you are an Australian rap page on Instagram, for example, I think it's okay if you're 100% positive. That's fine, because if that's your angle that you want to go for in terms of, I want to push the scene forward and I want to push all artists across all genres equally, then I think there's nothing wrong with that. I feel like if you have an opinion and then you are up somebody's ass, that's when I have a problem. If you are just a media outlet, you hold no opinion. You're not there to give your opinion. You are there to give facts, and you are there to just promote shit only. Fine, do the whole 100% positivity thing, because then it's down to the consumers' own opinion whether they like it or not. I think that's a good thing, if anything. I feel like it's wrong if you're someone like me who says I'm going to give my opinion now and then I only ever give positive opinions. I feel like that's wrong. I remember once or twice saying, look, I'm not going to post this reaction today because I had nothing nice to say. If you're only going to say something nice, only say something you got something nice to say, whatever that saying is, right? And so I didn't post it, and I copped a load of shit for not uploading it. Then I upload things where I criticize something, and it's like, well, why are you uploading it? You shouldn't. So you're not going to please everyone anyway. I just say whatever angle you go with, be consistent with that. If you are going to be a media page that holds no opinions on things, you are just there to share things, then yeah, go with 100% positivity, or just keep it as factual as you possibly can. If you're going to be someone like me or someone like you, for example, who gives the facts and then puts your opinion on top, that's fine. Just be fair in your criticism, be fair in your praise, you know, keep to the facts as much as possible, give your opinion. And if people don't want to tune in for people's opinions, they're just there for the facts, then go find something else. That, like, if you're here for me, people enjoy my content because they always want to hear my opinion. I've realized that. Like, if I don't give my opinion on something, they're like, but I was only here to see what you thought of anyway. I know some people that DM me and they're like, I don't even watch your reaction. I just skip to your breakdown bit at the end because you might point out something that I didn't, or I just want to know what you thought of the track. And I'm like, fair enough. If that's the side of the content that you want to consume, then that's fair enough.
Do you have a lot of people like hitting you up and stuff, trying to ask you to listen to their music and everything? You would all the time, wouldn't you? I get that a bit, and it's okay. Like, I don't mind listening to it, but it's just a bit overwhelming, let's say.
Yeah, it gets overwhelming, especially from my perspective, because I'm known as the reviewer guy, and that's the problem with what I do. Like, I must get it as much as artists, but obviously, I don't know. But it's toned down recently a little bit more, especially since I don't do the underrated showcase as much. When I was doing the underrated showcase, showing off smaller artists, I was getting anywhere between, like, I don't know, 20 to 50 DMs a day. Like, no word of a lie. I remember at one point, one night going through all of my DMs, like, to the point where there was none unread other than the ones that were responding while I was responding to other people. And I remember clearing it, and I remember it was like, when I went to bed, it was like 7 unread messages. It's like, you know what, they're the people who's just replied, I'm gonna go to bed now. I woke up and it was like 99 plus messages again, and like 99 plus requests. And I remember that one day where it was like, that feels like A-list celebrity shit right there. And I remember it was a time around when like the one for the message came out as well, so it was kind of popping because of that as well. But I remember just being like, I spent an hour and a half, 2 hours last night just replying to a DM, bang, reply to a DM, bang, and doing my best to not type the same message out to everyone, trying to keep some sort of diversity, even if it was just I appreciate that, my bro, thank you. Like, there's only so many ways you can write that message.
I know. But do you do that now even? Reply to as many DMs as you can?
I'll be honest, I burnt myself out doing it, because after that, I couldn't keep up with it. I feel like now if I do it, I need to set myself a time in the day to do it, because I'm not a person who sits on my phone a lot. I don't. And so if I check my phone, it's kind of like last thing at night before I go to bed. Like, that's kind of when I check my phone. I don't really sit on my phone that often. And so, I replied to a handful that are at the top, and then I just keep it moving. And so I know some people, I look at their requests, and it's like they've sent messages back from like 5 months ago, and they're sending periodic messages, and I'll always be like, I'm so sorry that I couldn't keep up with it, but it just gets too much in the end. But
for me, like, I'm kind of an introvert, so I don't like, I'll talk to people and stuff, but like, I just can't deal with talking to like 20 people at once on Instagram or whatever like that. I just don't do it. So it's like, Now I think with my content, I'm probably just going to focus on the news videos and that, because that way I can kind of still have a life, beside the channel, and I can just make my news videos and put them out, and like the information, or people can watch those, and then I don't have to interact so much because I don't have the time to do that because I'm studying, working, got a girlfriend, friends, always got shit going on in my personal life as well. So yeah, I feel like I don't know. The only reason I brought it up is because I felt guilty recently because I've had like lots of people message me and I just won't reply for 8 hours like that person did to you.
Yeah.
And it's because I just feel burnt out. Like I just can't be fucked.
Yeah.
I'm just like, I see the message and I'm like, I really just don't want to talk to anyone right now. Hey, I just want to watch, I just want to scroll through Pornhub for 10 minutes.
I just want to scroll for 10 minutes, do my 20-second shoulder shake at the end, and go about my day, big man. I get it. I mean, if you're like, I guess I'm similar to you in terms of, do you ever look at how many message requests and how many messages and DMs you got, and it kind of overwhelms you to the point where you look at it and you go, I don't even want to. Like, I'll be honest, there's times where if I have like 3 DMs, I'll answer those 3 because I know that I'm going to be done in 3 minutes time, let's say. But when I see 99 plus, I don't want to, because I just see it as, what's the fucking point? And ultimately, I know that even if I reply to 10 of those, at least it's 10 people that got an answer, Like, but honestly, shit's just overwhelming now. It just feels that way, and I don't ever want to palm it off on like management or somebody else and be like, oh, can you reply to my DMs? But I don't want to ever do that. I want it to always have a personal touch. But especially to bring it full circle back to your point of people sending in their freestyles or their music, it's like, yes, I want to check it out, but you do realize that you're not the only person who sends me this shit. And if I do check it out, I don't want to just listen to 10 seconds and then reply with fire emojis. You're sick, my guy. I hope you will one day. I always want to give constructive feedback. And so I like to listen to at least a minute and a half of it and then like give a detailed thing. And so oftentimes I'll do it in a voice note or something, but there's only so much that I can keep up with. And somebody said, why don't you do it as a Patreon thing? Like, why don't you do it as if they donate, then you... I'm thinking about doing that, but I feel like an arsehole.
I'm going to start doing it.
Yeah,
I'm going to start doing it. I don't give a fuck. I'll monetize the shit out of this channel. But that's the thing, man. It's like, if you're going to put all this time, money, effort into something, it's like, and at the end of the day, both of us are treating this as a business. You know what I mean? Like, eventually we want a return out of the effort and money that we've invested into this. And that way people still get to have something, they get to interact with you. They get to share their content with your fans and stuff. They get to get that genuine reaction on a live stream. And it might cost them $10. It's like, there's value there. You know what I mean? And the value is the $10 and you're providing that. And I think it's good. It's not, you're not scamming anyone. If it was like $500 and I'll listen to your song, that's a scam. But if it's like $10-20, it's like, man, that's nothing,
Yeah, I mean, I just to round up in a minute. I've thought about doing a Patreon again. I did do it before. I didn't keep up with everything. That's the honest truth. So if I do it again, I need to make sure that I stick with everything. I was just promising too much. Like before, it was just too much to keep up with. So I mean, I always need to remind myself of that. Just work-life balance, because I have so many ideas, and we was chatting about this off camera before, but I have so many ideas and so many things that I want to do. And the problem is I then end up doing like 7 or 8 different things, and I have to streamline it back down to 2 or 3 before it then becomes too much. There's a reason that if I was once doing live streams, there's a reason I don't do it before. If there's a reason I was doing something before and I'm not doing it now, it's because, it's just prioritizing the things that are tangible that I can keep up with. I mean, even during this time of quarantine, when everyone's at home, able to smash this out for 12 hours, I'm still working. So just... bear with me.
See, for me, bros, it'll take me like 6 to 8 hours just to make one video.
Yeah, those longer. Kind of videos do, especially,
but this is why. It's because I have to edit everything on my phone. This is one thing people don't realize. Shit. I do everything off my iPhone. I make my thumbnails. I literally do everything. I make my thumbnails on my phone. I edit them all using different apps and stuff. I edit all my videos on my phone.
Get something.
It's shit. Like, I've got this new computer here. It's a mate's. He like gave it to me, but it's got all his stuff on it. He still needs to wipe it. But I'm just like hanging for him to come and like wipe all the stuff off it, and then I can actually start editing videos on there. Because man, like it takes 8 hours or more just to make one video, you know what I mean? And it won't even be like a complex video. And it's just, I don't have the editing tools. It takes so long. And then it's just, yeah. So for me, like the channel's been kind of dead the last couple of weeks just because I've had this computer here, but it hasn't been operational and I'm like waiting to be able to use it. But for real soon, like once everything's all good, I'm going to be making the most of this coronavirus lockdown and I'm just going to make a shitload of news videos.
Yeah, man, go for it. Even even if you can just do once
yeah.
a week at the very least, just I think regular uploads is more important than smashing like 6 out and then not. I mean, I know I do that sometimes, but yeah, if you can get regular uploads, that's the most important thing. But yeah, man, it was a pleasure chatting to you again. Pleasure having you on the podcast. Yeah, have you got any last things to plug or any last things to say?
Yeah, me and Illegal, we teamed up. We just did this shirt recently, so they're only $35. The link is in Illegal's bio on Instagram, so just Illegal merchandise. They've worked with artists like Husky, Nerve, Greeley, all sorts of artists. But yeah, we teamed up, did these. All money goes to a good cause, goes towards paying my internet bill so I can scroll through Pornhub for 10 minutes.
Yeah, of course. The important things in life.
But yeah, if you want to follow me, NoCaseNone. I'm on Instagram. I'm on YouTube. I do news videos, interviews, etc. Check me out. And that's it.
No worries, man.
Too easy.